it yourself. When budgets are squeezed, what are your top tips for making the food bowl go further? Great question.
Well, Nick, you're in the UK, so I think we've got to leave that one to you.
Okay, great. I would say tripe. Use more tripe. Now, there are two types of tripe at least: lamb tripe and beef tripe. And I would say, and it tends to be very, very cheap. So you could lean more heavily until perhaps the economy improves by looking at tripe. Be careful about getting cheap meat, because it's cheap for a reason. And so if you do see people selling cheap meat, just be sure it hasn't fallen off the back of some lorry somewhere, just to be on the safe side. So the other thing would be organ meats. If your dog eats organ meats and they really enjoy it, try increasing that organ meat. Obviously, as part of variation, so that we don't have any excesses or deficiencies, but increasing organ meat. If you examine a sheep's carcass and you take all the bladder and all the organ tissue, it comes to about 25% of the total body weight. And we're talking thymus, we're talking lymph nodes, we're talking salivary glands, everything. If you take everything, it's up to about 25%. And typically in an 80-10-10, we've got 10% organ meat. So you might well be able to push that up into the 15s and 18s. Liver tends to make the gut loose, so just be a bit careful with that. And obviously, if you feed lamb's liver and the dog doesn't get on well with it, don't feed lamb's liver. Try pork liver, try beef liver. That's a good idea. Also, heart tends to be really, really cheap and is fantastic. Essentially, you can use it as a meat. It's a specialized meat. It's very high in coenzyme Q10 and taurine and choline and all these amazing things, but it's cheap and it's meat. So you might well be able to stretch things by using viscera. Viscera is cheap bowl filler, but it is pretty rich. Heart you'll probably get away with, and you can use that as a meat. But also think about you can get tongue. Think more broadly. What organ meats are we not using? Have a chat with your butcher, see what he can get hold of. Lung, testicles, spleen. All these things are usually tossed aside or not used. They are wonderful, wonderful food, and I suspect very, very cheap.
And not only that, Nick, I'll just jump in there. All those wonderful things you've just spoken about are giving you that broad range of foods that are required to get that balance right. And they're going to contain a lot of things we don't yet know about, but are important. But let me also say,